Thank you very much, Meg. Thank you for reminding of those days. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about new trends in test automation. I'm manager test automation group at QA Infotech, and the first and most prominent paradigm shift that we are seeing in test automation is this. It's quality engineering now. It's not test automation, it's not functional testing, it's not performance testing, it's not divided into small silos anymore. And quality as a whole is responsibility of everyone, right? Um, I could talk about this paradigm shift whole day, but keeping in mind the time I have been allotted, I'm taking these 3 points. These all of them are correlated, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit, right? The first one, small is big. Now, this practice has impacted software engineering on a whole. Small is big now, microservices, right? Minimalistic designs. And it has also impacted how we test applications, how we create automation scripts around our test cases. Now, in order to prepare for this talk, what I did was I went through and reviewed few projects, few small to medium-sized projects that have 3 to 10 engineers working on them. Now, I realized that there are around 500 to 1500 test cases based on the project size, right? Now, this is not a very scientific correlation, but it seemed like for every engineer there were around 200 test cases, right? And that's not my point. My point was that these test cases had around 20 to 50 automation scripts catering to 80% of coverage. Now that was problematic. Why is it problematic? It's problematic because it seems single automation scripts were catering to a lot of test cases. They are targeting, and I'm talking about test cases, not even the test steps. So if each test case had like 5 steps, each test automation script was executing maybe 50 test steps or 100 test steps, and that is too much. Now, if you think about it, it seems like a very efficient solution. I have one script, I execute it, I get a lot of test cases executed. But this is not what Google found. Google did a research in 2016. They have like 4.2 million test cases that they execute every day through their continuous integration tool. And 2% of their test cases are flaky, unreliable. And they did a study on those 2% test cases, and they found bigger the test case, more flakier the results are, right? And it makes sense. If you think about it, bigger test cases are flaky because they are very complex. They are not focused. They are trying to do too many things. And because they are trying to do too many things and they are complex, they are difficult to debug and maintain. There are too many variables involved in each automation script, and that's not what we want because we are trying to make a small big, right? So how do we solve this problem? We solve this problem by making our automation scripts small. Now, this is applicable to manual test cases also. This is not just the automation script. Like I said, it's all about quality engineering, being more focused, being keeping our documents smaller. Now, how does that help us? That helps us because it gives us more flexibility. If you have a lot of test cases, you can create any permutation of combination that you want. You can have your sanity test, you can have your smoke test of some other combination, you can have your test for this sprint release, last 2 previous release, or maybe for whole application. So it gives you flexibility. But that's not the biggest advantage. The advantage is they are easier to debug. You know, each test case has a single focus. They are testing a single thing. There are lesser external variables involved. They have more reliable results. And they are less complex. So you give your test suite to anyone, they can look at your test case and understand what exactly we are trying to test. So what I'm saying is, in test automation, now small is big. Keep your test cases as small as possible. Now, the adverse effect of keeping your test cases small is that you have a huge number of test scripts. And number of test scripts is directly related with execution time, something no project manager would accept, that your test execution time is going through the roof. How do you handle that? There comes in the second paradigm shift: divide and rule. Now, this particular testing pyramid, everyone has seen this, right? We have been talking about it, that we need to split our test cases into separate layers. If we try to test everything through UI, we are bound to fail, or we are going to run out of time, right? Say, for example, let's take a login page. A login page has a couple of test cases. You can enter your username, you enter your password, they are correct, you go to home page. You enter wrong password, you're not authenticated. Your username format is wrong, then the home page gives you error. And if we split it, the first test case, format of username incorrect, is a client-side test case. It has nothing to do with what's happening on the server side, what's happening on the back end. That could be executed through a unit test itself. Authentication test case is a service thing. You don't have to launch the application. You send the username, password through service, and you get the result, and you know that test is working. You don't have to have the complete system up and running. The only case on login page I can think is valuable for UI testing is one where you enter the correct username, password, and then you transition to the home page. So you see, login page could have tens of test cases, but only valid one for maybe Selenium automation is only one, which has the transition. Others could be done really quickly using the unit tests. Now, this is a common knowledge. Everyone knows about it. Everyone talks about this pyramid. But what I want us to do is invert the pyramid. I want, as quality engineers, we should start contributing to the unit tests and service tests also, not just the UI testing. And to do that, we come to the third paradigm shift. The roles, they are changing. There is no quality, there is no tester anymore, there is no developer anymore. We need to evolve as engineers. We need to start contributing in the development process. And in order to keep quality check, we need to make sure that we keep check on unit tests also. The tests that developers are writing, we need to validate them. We need to be able to run them and analyze them. We also need to learn how to build and deploy and host the application on our local machines so that we can do the first part efficiently, right? And the third part, which is going ahead of curve, is we need to be able to fix defects, if not create new features. This is something that we have started doing at Expedia, we are doing at some projects, but we need to bring it into our practice. So essentially, the testing and automation testing is going to be more engineered. It's going to be more inclusive. Everyone is going to work towards the same goal, which is providing the quality software to our customer as quick as possible. And it's going to be preemptive. We cannot wait till end of the cycle of application to be developed to test it. It's going to be automated. Thank you.